CBS 4 News is breaking into homes in broad daylight, but we're not doing it to steal your stuff. Will your neighborhood pass the burglary test? Tonight, after the big game on 4. 12 teams in 11 cities begin the new year with hopes running high. Over the course of 35 days, they must learn to play together toward a singular goal, lest they fall victim to the savage twists and turns of the NFL playoffs on the path to the mountain's peak. In the end, only one will remain and will leave with pro football's ultimate prize and a place among the immortals. 12 teams, 35 days, and only one survivor.
Well, many kids dream of reaching the Super Bowl. Today, some of those kids who have grown up to be Chicago Bears and Indianapolis Colts will see their dreams come true, because in about 7 hours, they will knock helmets in what we call Super Bowl 41. Good morning, everybody. I'm Jim Barry. Welcome to this special Super Bowl edition of Crunch Time. And what an exciting moment it is here in South Florida, because at Dolphin Stadium in our very own backyard, we're going to see the world champion of pro football crowned right here. The Chicago Bears coming in at 15-3, taking on the Indianapolis Colts led by Peyton Manning. They come in at 15-4. This is a marquee matchup, no doubt about that. The Bears, great defense against the Colts, great offense. I am joined now by my colleague Kim Bokamper. And Bo, we're in serious countdown mode now, about 7 hours before kickoff. You've been in 2 of these Super Bowls. What's the player going through right now?
Well, your nerves are just a bundle right now. I mean, you've been sequestered over the night. Usually the teams will switch different hotels. They want to get away from all the hoopla that surrounds the game. And right now the players are among themselves. They're talking to themselves. They're getting into their focus for the game. And I tell you what, I have never been more nervous in my life than the morning of the Super Bowl, because you wake up and all of a sudden you realize the biggest game of your life is staring you right in the face, and you've got to go out and play in front of millions upon millions of people. It's a great feeling, but one that certainly catches your breath.
Well, we've seen the weather be kind of soggy and sloppy here. Do you think that favors the Bears?
I think maybe a little bit, because the Bears are a team that force turnovers. But look, this stadium is perfect for this kind of weather. They've got a system underneath that sucks the water out. They'll turn the vacuums on. This field will be in perfect condition by the time they play tonight. I really don't think it's going to have effect one way or another.
All right. Well, we've been staked out here all morning checking on the weather, and in fact, we've been smack dab in the middle of it. Let's go now to our meteorologist, David Bernard. He's got more on what we might expect tonight for Super Bowl 41. And right now, David, I have to say, you're looking like a soothsayer.
Everything is looking a little bit better, Jim. You know, when we came earlier, there was a steady rain. Hey, things are a little bit better now. In fact, let's go right to real-time Doppler 4. We are zoomed in on Dolphin Stadium, and you can see there are some very light returns around the stadium, but basically these are just sprinkles. And as we widen out, you'll notice that most of the rain is down to the south of the stadium. So south of Fort Lauderdale, most of it in Miami-Dade. Broward right now, you do have drizzle and some very light rain falling, but the intensity of the rain is not as much as it was earlier. Now you're saying, look at all the rain down in the middle and upper Keys. Yes, some of that is kind of spinning its way back toward us over the mainland areas, but I don't think it's going to make it this far, or if it does, it's going to be very light. So let's break down the forecast for you today and show you what it's all going to mean. Breezy and cool. Yes, some showers are still going to be likely. It'll be mostly misty, though, is the best way to describe it. I think for kickoff, for game time, about 68 degrees. We'll see temperatures fall back, into the middle, maybe lower 60s by the end of the game. But again, you take into the fact that they've got excellent facilities here, the drainage of the field and all that. I don't think the weather will be a huge factor, but the football is likely to get just a little bit wet. Other than that, I'll turn it back over to you guys.
All right, David, thank you very much. We've got plenty of ground to cover in the next hour here on this Super Bowl edition of Crunch Time. Let's break down for you what you're going to see as we talk about Super Bowl 41. And so much to talk about in this game. And leading it off, after 9 years of frustration, Peyton Manning finally in the big game. We'll talk more about that. Rex Grossman, meantime, his counterpart, the gunslinger. Lovie Smith says he believes in him. We'll see if his faith is warranted. Tony Dungy making history as he is one of the first black coaches in the Super Bowl. Dan Marino, of course, weighing in on the big game. And we're going to check on all the great Super Bowl parties. And trust me, there have been plenty of those. In fact, much of the action is happening right now on South Beach. And Maggie and Elliot Rodriguez have been hanging out a lot, checking out what's going on at the old Versace mansion. But today, they're doing some real work. They're here with us at Dolphin Stadium. Let's check in with them, guys.
No, we're not, Jim. We're talking about our week at
That's
South
right.
Beach. We're just sitting here. It was a great week, and I hope that you caught some of our exclusive coverage from Casa Casuarina. We saw so many celebrities. We saw Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes, dozens of others. And if today we prove that we can host a Super Bowl here at Dolphin Stadium, which I think we will, I think that this week South Florida proved that we can be a perfect stage setter for the big game with a place like South Beach to have all those parties.
When I was looking at those pictures at the end of Face the Nation, those beautiful pictures of South Beach, when you think about the whole world looking at our community, this is fantastic for South Florida. And talk about beautiful scenes. How about beautiful people? Maggie was talking about the celebrities. A lot of athletes at Casa Casuarina on South Beach, and that's where Jill Martin is live right now. And Jill, those athletes were at a lot of parties there.
Oh, wow. I mean, it has just been a wild week and one that a reporter really remembers. I mean, this has just been an amazing week here. The people that were here, especially last night, Drew Rosenhaus hosted his exclusive Super Bowl party here at the Casa poolside. This entire pool was packed with NFL stars. We're going to bring you those highlights a little later on. And this morning, Don Shula is actually here right now before he heads over to the stadium. He has an exclusive breakfast here with Marquis Jet. So this has been an amazing place. And aside from the stadium, this is the place to be if you want to see the Super Bowl. And I'll have more on that a little later coming up. Back to you, JB.
All right, thank you so much, Jill. Well, I'll tell you what, the players certainly know what's at stake. That's why they haven't been hanging out at too many of those parties on South Beach or at the Seminole Hard Rock, because they are here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to take the Vince Lombardi Trophy back home. This is the trophy that they're playing for. It is a beauty, worth $25,000 in dollars, but worth so much more in prestige. Both teams have done their fair share of talking about playing. In fact, they've danced a little bit this week. They've had some fun. They've clowned around a little bit. But the Bears and the Colts know they are the last two teams standing. More than 90 million folks will be watching them play Super Bowl 41 tonight. So, yes, this is enormous, but let's keep perspective. It is just another football game.
I just got to stay focused and do what we've been doing all year long. So I'm not looking forward, as it being a Super Bowl, I'm looking forward as another game that we have to go out there and play extremely well to win.
One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stay within the game plan. I'm not going to try to do anything, out of the element. I'm just going to try to do exactly what the coaches say, and I trust that they are going to put me in the best situation to make good plays.
All right, Bo, and maybe that's exactly what the quarterbacks, Peyton Manning and Rex Grossman, want to do, particularly Rex Grossman. He is seen as the gunslinger here, a guy who will put it up and take his chances. Peyton Manning, Mr. Precise. Is Peyton Manning ready to play the perfect game, and will he need to?
We'll find out. I tell you look at Super Bowl 41, and there are plenty of storylines. You've got Tony Dungy versus Lovie Smith, two head coaches that are best of friends. You've got that potent Colt offense against a stifling Bear defense, but maybe no matchup is more compelling than quarterback versus quarterback. Peyton Manning versus Rex Grossman. By midnight tonight, one of them will be crowned king of the football world. Nobody influences the outcome of a Super Bowl, any Super Bowl, like the quarterback, whether it's throwing touchdown passes or serving up game-breaking interceptions. Today, Peyton Manning and Rex Grossman take center stage. One has been banging on the door for almost a decade, the other, a relative babe in the woods.
I certainly would have hoped to have been here earlier, and we've had some chances in earlier years. We've had good football teams and had some chances in the playoffs, and it just didn't work out.
Just gonna try to downplay everything, all the stuff that's going around the football field itself, because it is just a football game.
The two could not be any different. Grossman has thrown 23 touchdowns and 20 interceptions while absorbing heaps of criticism all along the way.
I don't know if he gets a lot of credit that he deserves because, they made it to the Super Bowl. They're here. They're excited about it. And no one's perfect.
I try to just do my job as much as possible to take on the criticism and play well. and don't worry about it too much.
Manning on the slant, Wade, touchdown.
Manning, on the other hand, is out of this world. 31 touchdowns to just 9 picks, and as even the casual observer can tell, when he's at the line of scrimmage, he is the man.
I don't even know if he's checking most of the time. I just think he does have to screw you up and see if he can get you not to read your keys. I guess only he knows the answer.
Peyton clearly knows the answer to his offense, but who does he call to find the key to winning SB 41?
A few quarterbacks during this past week, guys that have played in this game, that have both won the game and lost the game, and just tried to see if they had any advice for me. Some I called them, some they called me.
Well, the one thing you know about each one of these quarterbacks, they're going to be prepared for the teams that face. They've had 2 weeks off. They've gone through everything. They know tendencies. They know what to expect. Now it's just a matter of who's going to go out there and execute.
All right, and Lovie Smith says he believes in Rex Grossman, even if nobody else does. Stay with us. We've got plenty more to talk about in this special Super Bowl edition of Crunch Time. When we come back, we'll find out more what the Colts are thinking and hear from their running back, Joseph Adai. Also, the Bears receivers in the spotlight. Can they deliver when it counts in Super Bowl 41?
Today's special coverage on CBS 4 News is brought to you by your South Florida Cadillac dealers.
All right, Marvin Harrison's jersey, very popular here at the NFL Experience. It's kind of funny because Marvin Harrison's a pretty shy guy until he gets on the football field. He's caught 106 touchdown passes from Peyton Manning. Certainly he is one guy who bears watching today as the Colts take on the Bears in Super Bowl 41. Welcome back to this extended edition of Crunch Time, and we're happy to say that it looks like it's drying out just a little bit, so maybe by the time you get to the stadium, you won't have to wear your poncho, and we'll see if that affects the Bears and the Colts. I'm back with Kim Bokamper, and you know this big guy to my left, don't you?
Joe Klecko. Seems like every time Joe comes down here for a big game, it starts raining, the field gets a little soggy.
We were talking about that. It just seems like Miami doesn't like me, you know?
Well, yeah, you beat up on the Dolphins long enough, so maybe Miami does have a little bone to pick with you, but it's nice to have you with us.
Oh, good to be here.
And your son, I'm certainly is very excited about the opportunity that is in front of him playing for the Colts.
Well, Dan's a blessed child, it seems. 4 years in the league, 3 Super Bowls.
Yep. Wow.
You know, hopefully to win his third maybe here, you know. Poor daddy never had a ring.
And he's become Peyton Manning's secret weapon. Didn't know he had hands like that.
Oh, he's quite the athlete. You know, everybody busted him about his weight a little bit, but Peyton made reference in the news conference right after the game that it'd be funny, Klecko beating our leading touchdown receiver in the playoffs.
But that's typical of Peyton Manning using every weapon at his disposal, isn't it?
Oh, well, everybody knows how tremendous a quarterback he is, you know. And I said in this game here, if it gets it to be a tight situation, you want to put the ball in somebody's hands to control the game and be able to direct it. There's none better.
Yeah.
Joe, you look at this football game and you look at that potent offense of the Colts. Bears defense has been stifling all season long. Do you think they'll have enough to slow down that offense of the Colts?
Well, the stifling defense got a little bit less stifling as it came down to the playoffs. But I think what has happened to them now, at least they've recovered from their injuries. The cornerbacks were hurt a little bit. Now they're getting a little bit better. Offensive line for the Colts have been their stalwart performers. Those guys protect him very well.
And certainly Brian Urlacher, the real key for that defense, a guy who's very, very quick. But let's talk a little bit about this Colts defense because they were getting run over last month of the regular season, but they've really stepped up. What's been the difference?
Well, I think the scheme is what they changed a little bit because going into the end of the game, they were really taking a typical rushing the passer mode. And against Kansas City and Johnson, they stopped them and put a big hold on that. I think the Ravens only had 90 yards. So they've come a long way.
Yeah, they certainly have. Who you picking? As if I don't know.
Well, I think the Colts are the better team today.
Yeah. All righty. We're not surprised his son plays for him, but a lot of people agree with you, and it's good to see you.
Thank you.
All right. Joe Klecko joining us, and always great to see he and the rest of the former NFL players hanging out in the Super Bowl, enjoying it. And the question is, what kind of weather will we be watching Super Bowl 41 under? Let's go back and check now with meteorologist David Bernard. David, you were right. You said rain today, and that's what we've had. But I'm encouraged that things are looking a little bit brighter.
It is. I mean, hey, Jim, things have improved since we got out here early this morning. In fact, let's go to real-time radar right now, and we'll take a close look at the stadium. And when we do that, you'll be able to notice that there's not much showing up. Just a little bit of patchy rain in the area, and in fact, it's so light it's barely detectable. So we'll zoom out from Dolphin Stadium. Look to the north of Dolphin Stadium, up to Fort Lauderdale. Not very much rain at all. Most of it is basically just drizzle. Down to the south, as we go into Miami-Dade, you'll be able to see there's more light rain with the heaviest down in the Keys. But the tendency has been for this to kind of slip down to the south. Let me break it down for you. Here is the forecast then for today. We're going to call for a high temperature of 73 degrees, breezy and cool with some showers. It won't rain everywhere all the time, and I'm not expecting it to be very heavy. Now, what about for game time? Kickoff, 6:25, 68 degrees, 67 for halftime, and I'm expecting 65 degrees by the end of the game. So, is this ideal South Florida winter weather? No. But is it going to get a lot worse than it is now? I don't think it is. That's how things stand right now. Let's go back up to Kim and Jim.
All right, thanks a lot. We appreciate the update, David. And we're joined now by Maggie and Elliot Rodriguez. And, of course, I encountered this right when I got here at about 6 this morning. I had my umbrella to protect myself from the rain, and they said, that ain't coming in here. Just a sign of the security that we're facing.
And it was a nice one, too.
Yeah, it was.
I think that's a good nugget to relay to the people. If you're planning to come out here, news you can use, do not bring an umbrella. They won't let you bring it in. Do bring a poncho and be here early because you can expect to take a while to clear security. That's because here at the stadium and on Miami Beach, there is a level 1 alert, which means added patrols, and at the stadium, Homeland Security at the helm. CBS 4's Carrie Codd takes a closer look.
Every year, the Super Bowl is the biggest sporting event of the year, and it's also a potential target for terrorists.
Clearly, the stadium would be the #1 target if a terrorist was looking to make a statement. But you get the same effect of that statement if you hit anything surrounding the celebration of the Super Bowl.
The terrorist attack on 9/11 forever changed the way officials prepare for major events. Security in South Florida is always high. Remember the recent scares at the Port of Miami and the arrest of 7 men accused of being a terror cell. In the past, local police handled Super Bowl security, not anymore. Now it's a teamwork of multiple federal, state, and local agencies.
It used to be distant cousins working somewhat closely together. Now we're really like brothers and sisters working hand in hand to make sure that there is a secure environment for the event.
Authorities say they're ready, but the intelligence does not show any specific threats.
No, there's not been a single threat, nor has there been an indicator that we're going to encounter that kind of a situation or problem.
And many of the security measures taken would have been unthinkable before 9/11. Main roads closed, areas under heavy police presence, and the waters near government cut closed. And whether it's the NFL experience or the Super Bowl, from now on, heightened security and awareness will be the name of this game.
For the fans attending the Super Bowl or any other big event, the goal is that they don't realize the amount of security planning that took place, that they're there having a good time. It's the last thing on their mind.
Carrie Codd reporting. And remember, one of the security measures taken, no tailgating. A lot of streets closed around Dolphin Stadium. So if you are coming to the game, give yourself plenty of time to get here.
But you have another great option. Watch it right here
Yes.
on CBS 4. Let's send it back to Jim Barry.
All right, guys, thank you very much for those words of warning and advice. Still plenty ahead in this special Super Bowl edition of Crunch Time. When we come back, we'll talk more about the two coaches, Lovie Smith and Tony Dungy, best of friends, making Super Bowl history. Also, a pair of Canes are back in South Florida, squaring off in the biggest game of their lives. We'll hear from Reggie Wayne and Devin Hester. And what is the Super Bowl without commercials? We'll preview some of them a little bit later.
Today's special coverage on CBS 4 News is brought to you by Robin Stuckey.
CBS 4 News is breaking into homes in broad daylight.
We're just your friendly burglars.
But we're not doing it to steal your stuff. We're doing it to keep your property safe. Be there when Mike Kirsch hits several local neighborhoods. See who tries to stop us and who just stands there and watches. The burglary test. Tonight after the big game on CBS 4 News.
We are back live here at Dolphin Stadium, the NFL experience. Some fans are starting to trickle in as they are here plenty early, only about 6.5 hours before game time. but they want to make certain that they are here when the Chicago Bears and the Indianapolis Colts kick off in Super Bowl 41. And what a momentous one it promises to be, because for the first time, as we all know, two African-American coaches are squaring off in the big game. Tony Dungy and Lovie Smith seem to be cut from the same cloth, and both are proud of their place in history.
They are moments in sports that become milestones in history. From Jack Johnson and Jackie Robinson to Arthur Ashe, men who stood first at America's color line and stood there alone, sometimes for years. But 2 weeks ago, it was just 4 hours after the Chicago Bears' Lovie Smith became the first black head coach in 41 years to lead his team to pro football's promised land, the Super Bowl. He had company, Indianapolis head coach Tony Dungy, who, by the way, is Coach Smith's mentor and close friend.
I'm very, very proud. And as an African-American, it's going to be special.
And whenever you're the first to do something, it's a big deal. So we acknowledge that. But at the same time, I look forward to the day where it's an every year occurrence.
Known across the league for their class as much as their records, Smith and Dungy remain focused on the game upcoming. The importance of their groundbreaking achievement, they leave to others.
It's unfortunate that we even have to talk about it.
Doug Williams knows history. In 1988, he became the first black quarterback to start in a Super Bowl.
But the bottom line is opportunity. And these two guys was given an opportunity to do a job, and they've done it well.
Well, Doug Williams knows all about that. I was at that Super Bowl when Doug Williams made history through 5 touchdown passes, and afterwards, in fact, I went back with him to a small town, Zachary, Louisiana, just outside of Baton Rouge, and he thanked all the folks there, and I think Lovie Smith might do the same if he wins and go back to Big Sandy, Texas. Population about 1,300. Let's talk about this guy from Big Sandy, Texas, Lovie Smith, because really not many folks knew much about him before he got this job. What are your impressions of Lovie and what he's done with the Bears?
Well, the one thing about Lovie, he kind of came up through the ranks. He's done all the dirty work, and he's gotten to where he's at because of one thing, because he's a good football coach. And I think he and Tony Dungy have both taken that approach. They're not the fire and brimstone. They're not that old school coach that gets in players' faces. But what they are ultimately, they're teachers that teach their players how to be better, how to play together as a unit, and that's what's gotten them here. And I think you look at both of them, almost mirror images of each other in the way they coach. And you know what? Mirror images in the way their players respect what they do on the football field.
We're looking
also
at Tony Dungy now, Bo, and what's interesting to me, earlier this week, he said that in his mind, football is not everything. Can you imagine a Vince Lombardi or some of the other coaches saying that?
Well, and I think that comes across to his players. I think the way that he's taught them, look, Tony come from the University of Minnesota. I played against him when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He coached in that Pittsburgh Steelers organization, had a tough time down in Tampa Bay, and then moved on here, and has finally gotten over the top. But what he has done, he has remained steadfast in his beliefs and steadfast in the way that he has coached from one step to the next. And I tell you what, there is nobody in the National Football League that doesn't respect Tony Dungy for what he's accomplished.
When you talk about the total package with the quarterback, Peyton Manning is the first guy on the list. Not only does he have the arm, he also has the smarts.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, you look at Peyton Manning. This guy, you talk about a student of the game. I guarantee you, he has looked at this Chicago Bear defense from every angle. He's probably watched it 2 years worth of games against the Chicago Bears to break everything down. He is a coach out on the football field in every stretch of the imagination, and he's a guy that has the physical tools to go along with it. He's had a tough stretch. First 2 playoff games, didn't play very well, played well in the second half of the championship game. The question is, can he continue that on in what, again, is becoming the biggest game of his life?
As for Rex Grossman, he is being portrayed as Mr. the Jekyll Hyde quarterback, and that's really how he's played. He admits that he had about half a dozen games that he wasn't proud of. What about Rex and his struggles and his successes this year?
Well, Rex had 2 games. He threw for 34 yards in one game. He threw for 30 yards in another game. He's also had huge games, throwing for over 300 yards. And I think the one thing about Rex Grossman, he's got to get the running game going. He's a guy that likes to take the ball down the field. He wants to stretch the field and come up with a big play. And with Berrien and Machine Muhammad, he's got some receivers that can get the job done. I think what they need to do with Rex Grossman, start him slow, let him get his confidence built, some small passes, some little short passes, maybe some screens, those types of things, and then let him take it down the field.
Yeah.
I think Rex Grossman is going to be just fine. He's played plenty of big games. He stood up to the challenge. I think he'll do it again, Jim.
You're making those Gators happy when you say that, Bo. All right, well, Super Bowls have a way of making players who were previously unknown become immediate heroes. Certainly that happened back in 1986 when the Chicago Bears steamrolled the New England Patriots to win the Super Bowl. A guy by the name of Richard Dent, really unknown then, became Super Bowl MVP. Our Jill Martin is live now in South Beach, and she saw the former Super Bowl MVP at a breakfast this morning. What do you have to say, Jill?
That's right, JB. The breakfast, Don Shula hosted it this morning. He's now heading over to the stadium, as we all know. But it's been wild here at Casa Arena. There's been every party. And this morning, as you said, we ran into Richard Dent, who was Super Bowl MVP back in 1985. And here are his thoughts on today's showdown.
Well, this ring is exactly what the Bears hope to earn today. Now, you did it back in '85 with the Bears. They got it done with defense. Do you think they could do it again today?
Well, you know, I think the Bears has a stronger defense. I think the coach has a stronger offense. But I think it's really going to come down to field position. It's going to come down to special team. And the team that probably get the best field position probably work out. So I think the Bears defense should get it done. Will they get it done is another story.
Okay, the players obviously wake up this morning, such a stressful morning. What's going through a player's mind the morning of the biggest game of their life?
I'm sure they got jitterbugs, you know, and, you know, it's like their first time going to school. It's something, you know, you've never been here before when you move like that. But with it raining this morning, you know, I'm sure you got some guys frustrated about the weather, and yet, you know, they still got the game. So the one that's kind of, you know, relinquished that stress of, you know, now you got another added dimension as the weather. So, but, you know, in football, we play rain, sleet, or snow. So I'm sure they can't wait to get, you know, those first 3 plays in and get the jitterbugs out.
And in Chicago, you're used to this kind of wet weather.
Well, that would be, it should, you know, definitely lean our way with our running game. Hopefully we can keep the running game going to keep the ball away from Peyton. I think we should be okay. They are inside, you know, team. We kind of play in all types of weather. So, but, you know, who knows? You know, like Chicago, you like it, you like it 1 hour, and another hour you may hate it. You know, the weather changes all the time, every hour.
All right, you've been running around to all the parties. What's been the highlight of your Super Bowl week, party-wise?
This is one of the highlights because I've never been in the mansion before. So, you know, for a breakfast here, it seemed to be nice. I really like Marquis and do a lot of business with him. So, you know, this is sweet too.
All right, and he said he loved the mansion, and so did a lot of the NFL's top stars. They were here last night, and only CBS 4 can take you inside that party. I'll have all the details coming up a little later on. JB, let's send it back to you.
I hear we're going to rename it the Jill Martin Mansion because you've been hanging out there all weekend, Jill. Thanks a lot. Still ahead on this special Super Bowl edition of Crunch Time, we're going to hear from the great Dan Marino. He sits down with Bo to talk about his own Super Bowl memories and what to expect from Peyton Manning this afternoon. Also, those Super Bowl commercials. We hear that folks have paid $2.6 million just for 30 seconds. Wow. We'll see what to expect when we come back.
Today's special coverage on CBS 4 News is brought to you by Bell South.
On our next show, hero star Allie Larder.
Girl, start the bread!
Then, Love Life in a Rut for helping this couple spice things up. And our search begins for the worst kitchen in America.
Monday at 3 on 4. Maggie Rodriguez and Elliot Rodriguez, only on South Florida, CBS 4 News.
America runs on Dunkin's new maple cheddar breakfast sandwich. Surprise your taste buds with a sweet combination of maple-flavored sausage and cheddar cheese with scrambled egg on a freshly baked croissant. Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'.
All righty, this is what it feels like to go through the NFL experience. That's right, break those tackles. Larry Zonka in the making. We'll see if the Bears and the Colts tackle a little bit better than that today in Super Bowl 41. We are about 7 hours to go before kickoff here at Dolphin Stadium. The Bears and the Colts will decide who's king of pro football this year. And, of course, a couple of guys from South Florida will play big parts in this football game, I would expect. We are talking about Reggie Wayne of the Colts and Devin Hester of the Chicago Bears. Both of those guys hail from here. Both played at the University of Miami. Reggie Wayne, quiet as kept, has turned into a very dangerous receiver in the NFL. clutch, and Peyton Manning knows it. And speaking of dangerous, what about Devin Hester? As a rookie, he's run back 6 kicks for touchdowns. This guy is a game breaker like no other in the NFL, and both are eager to show what they can do before the hometown crowd.
Everybody pretty much, thanked me and told me, man, you got to win, because a lot of them is living their Super Bowl through me, because it's not for everybody.
It's not only preseason or a regular season game. It's actually the biggest game of the year, and which is the Super Bowl. So just coming back and being able to break one would mean a whole lot to me.
All right, we'll be watching to see what they do when the game is played. But, of course, even when the game is going to a break, there's still plenty to watch, isn't there, guys?
Absolutely.
Advertisers this year, it's up to 2.7 for a 30-second spot. They pay so much that they better be good. And one of the ones I'm really looking forward to the most, the New Hampshire woman who submitted the winning idea for the best Super Bowl commercial ever is in South Florida for the game. That was one of her prizes. And her commercial will air during the Super Bowl, and you'll recognize it because it will depict what it's like for the fans after the Super Bowl. They also have to wait, like the players, all those months for football to start up again.
That's right, and this is why a lot of people watch the game for the commercials. CBS 4's Jed Alexander has more on those very expensive spots on TV.
So now what do we do? Fight. Last one standing gets the promotion. Survival of the fittest.
Only the fittest and the finest will do during Super Bowl commercial breaks. Pizza Hut, Snickers, and Coca-Cola, all looking at getting a piece of the 90 million viewers' action.
Ooh.
You give a little love. Also taking a bite out of time, 30 seconds to be exact, Snack King Doritos with the guy checking out the girl. And the checkout girl.
Blazing Buffalo and Ranch? Giddy up! Gonna need a cleanup on register 6.
Fat rocks, I got 'em. Shining like a superstar from top to bottom. The already controversial nationwide ad campaign stars rapper wannabe Kevin Federline, whose dreams of fame are interrupted by the reality of working at a fast food joint.
What? Fries!
Trying to get the word out in $2.5 million or less, Budweiser using cars, canines, and crabs. Oh, and the axe-carrying hitchhiker.
What are you doing?
Should we pick him up? He has Bud Light,
He has an axe.
but he has Bud Light.
Oh, those Bud Light commercials are the best. What's up? You know?
Elliot, you do it better than those guys did it.
What's up?
And the reason those commercials are so expensive is all the eyeballs. 90 million people last year times 2, 180 million eyeballs. That's a great pitch platform, Jim.
Certainly is. All right, guys, thanks a lot. And we look forward to see which commercial is chosen as the hottest commercial of this Super Bowl 41. And certainly one of the guys who was hot back in the day was Dan Marino, one of your former teammates, Bo. He's going to be very busy today as he is involved with CBS's coverage of Super Bowl 41.
Busy today. He was busy during his career. For 17 years, Dan Marino set a standard for excellence that you may not ever be matched. You look at his situation, most career touchdown passes, total yards, completions. But for all that Danny accomplished during his career, he walked away from the game that he loves without the biggest prize of all, a Super Bowl title.
In the oldest stadium ever to host a Super Bowl, the youngest quarterback ever to start in one completed 4 of his first 5 passes.
It's been 22 years since Dan Marino lined up in his first and only Super Bowl. A brash 23-year-old out of Pitt, Danny had just shattered NFL season records with 5,084 yards passing and 48 touchdowns. Still, he fell short in Super Bowl 19, leaving a pain that lingers today.
They got him back at the 15-yard line.
Sometimes I dream about having another opportunity and winning that game. That's the one feeling as a football player that I never had. I mean, I accomplished a lot of things in my 17 years. I'm in the Hall of Fame, but I didn't know what that felt like to walk off as a quarterback that won a Super Bowl.
Backpedaling and launching long, open is Fletcher. He makes the grab inside the 40. The storyline there about Peyton Manning trying to win a Super Bowl, and who knows when he'll get another chance. You spoke to him earlier. What are his thoughts going into this game?
Well, I think he understands how important it is and what they've all worked for. And, when I did an interview with him with CBS, and he talked about how it's a team effort. It's not just Peyton Manning.
Super Bowl 41 could define Peyton's place in history. Meanwhile, Marino will be back in the Super Show, taking his place on the set of the Super Bowl today.
We worked all wear, doing the show all year is great and it's fun. But to know that you're going to be on before the game, 4-hour pregame show, all the people watching, and you're part of the biggest event on television, it's pretty special to me. I'm excited about it. I'll start preparing a little bit the rest of this week, and it'll be fun.
You worked hard as a player. You work hard doing this also.
You know what? You do not as hard as you do as a player, but basically I just try to put my thanks, man. Thanks. I work really hard.
Well, back to the game, and like everybody else, Dan has an opinion. Super Bowl was big when you played in it. Would you ever imagine how big it's gotten? Not only the game, but everything surrounding the football game.
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing to see, the show outside the stadium. We have a 4-hour pregame show. All the things that are involved, the great city of Miami being involved, and when we did it, it was big. It was big, and it was a lot of fun, but it definitely didn't have the attention you have now.
You talk to Danny off camera, and he kind of goes, yeah, well, not winning a Super Bowl was tough, but I did a lot of things. But I can guarantee you, it still hits him in the heart that he didn't win a Super Bowl, because for all that Danny did as an individual, he was the ultimate team player, and it was great to have an opportunity to play with him, and I feel bad for him that he didn't get the ring in the end.
And certainly a lot of folks feel the same way about Peyton Manning right now, and that's why Peyton Manning is staring at this opportunity, wanting to shed that label of a guy who could not win the big one. Bo, thanks a lot. Enjoyed that interview very much. Still ahead as we continue on this special Super Bowl edition of Crunch Time. Jill Martin is back to look at all of the lavish Super Bowl parties and all of the hotties who were around. At least I hear these guys are hot. I don't know. Anyway, what about Super Bowl trivia? Gary Nelson talks to some folks who might be kind of clueless about what's really going on around town.
Why this grandma posed nude in Times Square. How to age brilliantly. You'll never guess how old she is. The age-defying secret they all share. Next Oprah.
Monday at 4 on 4.
I'm Jill Martin. Your official station for Super Bowl 41 is CBS 4.
Welcome back to this special Super Bowl edition of Crunch Time. Jim Barry here with you. And if you are just waking up bleary-eyed, that means you were probably hanging out late last night at one of the many Super Bowl parties. They have been all across South Florida, from South Beach to the Seminole Hard Rock, and even all the way up to Palm Beach. And our Jill Martin has staked out one of the best spots in all of South Florida, the former Versace Mansion, with the very latest on the great parties that have been going on there. Jill, what's happening?
Hey, JB, I know the life of a sports reporter. I have been very busy. The party was late night last night. It wrapped up, about, 5:30 a.m., so you do the math. And the pool area, it may look empty now, but last night it was packed with all of the NFL's top stars, and only CBS 4 can take you inside and show you all the action. Last night, Joel Feinberg and 790 The Ticket throw a Super Bowl Eve bash for super agent Drew Rosenhaus, and all of his top clients stop by the late-night soiree. Finn Zach Thomas danced his way through the mansion. Kicker Olindo Mare was also enjoying the night, but they weren't the only Finns in the house. Look who I found in the Gibson guitar room. Finn's running back Sammy Morris. Sammy, this is quite a party.
It's quite a party. I'm sitting here in the room. I really wish I could play guitar right now or do something.
All right, Super Bowl tomorrow, Super Bowl predictions.
They're both great teams. We played the Bears this year. We played the Colts. I would have to say the Colts. I just feel Peyton Manning's due.
2 suites down, we ran into some other familiar faces. Look who we found in one of the VIP rooms. Former Marlin Mike Lowell, always at all the hot parties. What do you think of tonight's?
This is unbelievable. The Versace Mansion, we're here. I actually was excited just to see the inside. I'm not into fashion or anything, but I was curious. You see it from the outside, and the inside's unbelievable.
Right now, we are in Drew Rosenhaus's VIP room, and look who I found, the freak. Javon Curse, I want to find out, is this party freaky enough for you?
It's getting there. It's still pretty early. It's still only like 12:20, so it's Miami. 12:20 is just like morning time around here.
All right, we're still here in the VIP room in Drew Rosenhaus's VIP, and look who I bumped into. Now, you came out of UM early for this. Is this what you're looking forward to?
This ain't bad. It's a good night to be able to come here. A lot of Drew's clients are here, and this weekend here in Miami is special with the Super Bowl and everything. So it's really exciting to be able to all get here together and have a fun night together.
Well, it was a wild one last night, and I know someone else that's been in a lot of the hot parties, Lisa Petrillo. Right now she's at the stadium. Lisa, what's going on there?
Hi, Jill. Well, it's time for you to come on down here and get a little soggy because we are here, and it is actually still a lot of fun because I'm here with Bill Lopa. Actually, you are a commemorative artist for the NFL.
Yes, that's correct. I've been, for a few years now, I've been painting live at the NFL Experience Show. I do the commemorative poster for the Super Bowl every year, and this is this year's to commemorate the Colts and the Bears.
That's great. So tell me something. What are you working with here? This is oil on canvas?
This is on canvas. This is acrylic paint. It's called Impressionism. I use a lot of splatter. You normally do athletes. I use a lot of splatter to get a lot of movement and action, to exemplify sports.
And people can come out here and buy these? Or
absolutely.
limited?
You can buy the limited edition on canvas. You can buy prints, or you can buy poster reproductions. You can go to BillLopa.com and buy them there.
And look at over here. We have Bill also did the Kentucky Derby. That was last year?
That was last year's Kentucky Derby. I painted live there. And I painted at the World Series live, the All-Star Game.
Derek Jeter buys your work.
Derek Jeter, Muhammad Ali. I've still worked with Michael Jordan, a lot of athletes.
Pretty big deal to be commissioned by the NFL to do their work.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. I love football. It's my favorite sport, and I love the Super Bowl. I love coming out here and painting.
All right,
it's awesome.
So come on out here to the NFL Experience, and you can look around and find some of Bill's exciting work, buy some posters, and who you rooting for?
Root for the Bears.
Go Bears. All right, back to you guys.
He's one of the few guys who's picking the Bears. Finally, we found a Bears fan. All right, let's go back. Yeah, that's right. All right, let's go back to you guys. I guess there are a few folks who don't even know there is a Super Bowl.
No, everybody knows. Everybody knows about it.
I don't know.
Exactly. Well, no. That's what Gary Nelson found. And actually, it happened to me,
it's hard
too.
to believe.
This week, I was talking to a couple of friends. One is from Colombia, one is from Brazil, but they've lived here for, 10 years or so
tell
now.
them it's like the World Cup finals.
That's what they asked me. They said, so is this like the World Cup that they play a series of games leading up? It's just one game. No, is this like the World Series is what they asked me.
Okay.
I said, no, it's not a series. It's one game.
One game. Here's CBS 4's Gary Nelson with that story.
No question, the whole world is watching our town this week, the Super Bowl, the only thing anyone's talking about.
So you guys must be pretty excited about that Super Bowl, huh? How about that Peyton Manning? Those Bears are something, aren't they?
Okay, maybe the Super Bowl isn't the only game in town, but everybody knows about it.
What is the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl? Or maybe not.
Where are you from?
We are from Sweden.
And you don't know anything about the Super Bowl?
No, nothing. We are not very interested in sport.
We're asking folks who's playing in the Super Bowl.
I don't know. I have no clue.
The super clueless are, of course, in the minority. The rest of us know about the Super Bowl. The writing is, after all over the wall. We know about the big game and who's playing in it.
The Bears and oh, God, who's playing in the Super Bowl? The Colts?
You had help.
My husband.
Down at the salon, though, folks have the Super Bowl pairing down pat. Just ask this lady.
Indianapolis Colts and the Chicago Bears.
Well, you're well informed, although camera shy. Of course, your hair is wet.
The things we do for the big game. But while most know who the teams are, do we know the quarterbacks?
Manning and Brady. Manning and Brady. Tom Brady.
No, Tom Brady didn't quite make the Super Bowl cut. Let's try again.
Peyton Manning and I don't know the other one.
Peyton Manning? And I have no idea.
I don't remember, honestly. No, one is Manning.
Peyton Manning.
Yes, we all remember Peyton Manning. He's famous, has a famous daddy. Largely lost in the crowd noise, though, is Chicago quarterback Rex Grossman, way not famous. And even those who know of the former Gator don't give him much respect.
The quarterbacks are Rex Grossman, which I'm not particularly a fan of because I'm a UM fan and I was not a big Gator fan.
Well, we won't think about that right now. We'll just focus on the big game. Maybe not the only game in town, but definitely the biggest.
Okay, I gotta confess, I only know who the quarterbacks are in the Super Bowl because Peyton Manning played for the University of Tennessee Volunteers, and Rex Grossman is a Florida Gator. And I can tell you, Peyton Manning never beat the Florida Gators.
Another one in the Bears column.
That's
Chalk
right.
another one up. Well, I can tell you that plenty of people around the world do know about the Super Bowl. It's being broadcast in 232 countries and in 34 different languages.
That's right. And a couple of Gators on that Bears team, right, Jim?
Well, couldn't hear you too well,
A couple
Elliot.
of former Gators on that Chicago Bears
Yeah,
team.
Alex Brown is another one, and there are two other guys who don't play as much. So, yeah, the Bears definitely have that Gator slant. So if you believe this is the Gators' year, and by the looks of things, so far it has been, then you have to think that maybe the Bears are going to get it done tonight. When we come back, though, we're going to hear a few more predictions about what the rest of the world believes about who will win Super Bowl 41. We'll be right back.
Next, E.T., Anna Nicole.
Why don't you want your daughter to take a paternity test?
And a celebrity wedding. Next, E.T.
Monday at 7 p.m. on 4.
A desperate housewife's real-life white wedding. Anna Nicole's new crisis. And brave Jessica confined to a wheelchair. Next, Insider.
Monday at 7:30 on 4.
We are back live at Dolphin Stadium. I can tell you a lot of fans are starting to stream in already for Super Bowl 41, even though it's about 6.5 hours until game time. And the good news is the skies seem to be clear and drying out. Let's check back in with meteorologist David Bernard for an update. David?
Hey, Jim, you're exactly right. Things are looking a lot better out here. The breeze is picking up as well, and you can tell it's starting to feel a little bit drier. Let's go and take a look at real-time Doppler 4. We're zoomed right on into Dolphin Stadium, and notice no rain showing up around the stadium right now. Even the drizzle has stopped for the time being. Now we'll pull back a little bit, and you can see a little bit of patchy light rain there right around Oakland Park and Fort Lauderdale. And then in Miami-Dade, the rain is a little bit more widespread, but it's not anything compared to what it was earlier today, so some improvement there. Let's widen out on our radar and satellite view, and we'll get the bigger picture. And most of the rain is down in the Keys, but it's staying down there as far as the heaviest rain, but still expect some light rain off and on today. And then here's what the forecast is calling for. We're going to say 73 degrees for our high temperature today. It's going to be super cloudy with a cool breeze, and showers are going to be likely. And then for tonight, some showers around, a damp breeze, but hopefully the Super Bowl will be mostly dry. We'll be back to wrap things up with Jim Barry right after this.
CBS 4 News is breaking into homes in broad daylight.
We're just your friendly burglars.
But we're not doing it to steal your stuff. We're doing it to keep your property safe. Be there when Mike Kirsch hits several local neighborhoods. See who tries to stop us and who just stands there and watches. The burglary test. Tonight after the big game on CBS 4 News.
We are back live here at Dolphin Stadium, counting down the kickoff for Super Bowl 41, the Bears and the Colts. It is, of course, the big game tonight, right in our own backyard. Last night on South Beach, they had the big concert, and who else would cover it but our very own Lisa Petrillo. Lisa?
Jim Barry, I tell you what, we're standing on that red carpet last night. Is Ocean Drive Magazine big concert in the sand featuring Fergie, J-Lo, Mark Anthony, and first time ever, unprecedented concert, Mark Anthony and J-Lo together on stage. Take a listen. So there they are, the happily married couple now dancing, and you know what, that just looks good. And when it's here on South Beach, it was pretty amazing. The fans were going wild when those two hit the stage. Started much later than it should have, but you know what, look at the payoff. She's looking great. We were on the red carpet all night talking to the stars, and here's what they had to say.
Couple songs, liven the party up. I know J-Lo just came out with her Spanish album, so I'm really proud of her. She's a sweetheart. So I'm just here for the ride. It's great.
I am having a blast. I've been to South Beach before, and I always have so much fun, but this is my favorite time I've ever come. It's such a great mix of people here with all the fans that are just here rooting their teams on that probably don't even have tickets to the game, and they're all like slapping fives and everything, and then all the celebrities and the athletes and all the parties. I mean, it's overwhelming.
We're happy to have everyone in the city, and it's really great for all of us here in South Florida, and I think it's going to be fantastic.
All right, and guess what I'll be doing? Tracking more of them tonight. Whoever comes to the big show here tonight, I'll be there for halftime, and of course the big stars that are coming in to watch the game. We'll have it all for you on the news. Back to you.
All right, Lisa, if you get an interview with Prince, I'll definitely want to hear that. Of course, here's the lineup. Of course, tonight you got the Bears and the Colts in Super Bowl 41. In case you don't know that by now, the CBS show starting, of course, the network coverage beginning at 2 p.m., or actually at noon, right after this show, counting down to the big game. And, of course, a little bit later on tonight, we'll be back right after the big game to break it all down. And, Bo, real quick, we got time for a prediction. Everybody's picking the Colts. Are you on the bandwagon, too?
No, I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to take the Bears.
Really?
Colts, talk about the Colts offense. Colts scored 427 points. The Bears scored 427 points. So they can put points on the board. I think the Bears are an opportunistic defense. I think they're going to come up with the turnovers. And I think the Bears walk away champions.
I guess I should remove myself from predicting since I did grow up in Chicago. I do like the Bears by a little bit in this football game because I think they're the kind of football team that will disrupt Peyton Manning. But Peyton Manning is due, so maybe he will get his moment in glory. We'll find out tonight in Super Bowl 41. On behalf of the entire CBS 4 crew, I'm Jim Berry. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you after the game.